Good morning, good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Marites Baikin. So, our report is all about the direct and indirect counseling. Direct counseling. A.G. Williamson is the founder of directive counseling approach. So, si A.G. Williamson ay siya yung founder ng counseling approach. Directive counseling is also known as prescriptive counseling. It is counselor-centered approach. The counselor direct the client to take steps to resolve his conflict. So, yung counselor is direct siyang gumawa ng hakbang para matulungan o mabigyan ng solusyon ang client. It is based on assumption that the client cannot solve his problem for lack of information. So, base sa assumption na ang client ay kung kulang siya sa impormasyon, is hindi talaga masolve ang kanyang problem. Kaya, dapat, kung magbigay ka ng impormasyon, kung client ka, dapat kumpleto para masolve agad ng counselor or yun. In this approach, the counselor play an important role. He tries to direct the thinking of counseling by informing, explaining, interpreting, and advising. As a counselor is malaki yung responsibilidad natin sa mga client. He tries to direct thinking by counseling. By informing, explaining. So, inform mo yung mga dapat yung gawin, yung client mo, yung sabihin mo yung mga bagay-bagay, at syempre yung direct na pagbibigay ng advice or tulong sa mga client sa mga problema nila. It give more importance to intellectual aspect than emotional aspect. So the direct counseling is give more important about the intellectual aspect and the emotional aspect. So yung direct counseling is yung direct talaga siya na magtulong, yung dire-diretso. So let's proceed to assumption. The following are main assumption on which direct counseling is based. So one is all of our effort should be focused on the problem of the counseling. So as a counselor is yung all effort is focus on the problem of the client.
So hi, my name is by Sherina A. Barager. My report is the continuation kadugtong no. This is the continuation assumption on which the directive counseling. Pang second na to siya. So, counselor is more competent than the counselee and hence he plays a more active role than the client. So, ang counselor, sila yung may malaking responsibilidad sa lahat. Sila yung may kakayahang pumayo. At bukod sa lahat, sila yung mas may aktibong tungkulin kaysa sa client nila. Then, Williamson said, be the pivot, the center or leader of the situation. That mean yung counselor dapat ang ikutan or sila yung nasa sentro ng sitwasyon at sila yung mamumuno. And the third, counseling is primarily an intellectual rather than emotional process, and hence intellectual aspect as given more weightage than emotional aspect. Ang pagpapayo ay ginagamit ay isip, hindi ang emotional na proseso. Dahil dito ay mas kailangan ng intellectual aspect rather than the emotional aspect. Sa pagpapayo ay wag tayo palagi bumasi o wag tayo padadala sa emotional. Gamitan natin ng isip. So that's all and thank you.
Steps in direct counseling. Analysis. It includes collection of information about the individuals which can be collected through structured interviews, psychological case, history method, interaction with family members, friends, etc. Dito sa analysis is pwede kang makagawa ng mga information based sa pag-interview mo sa kanila tulad sa family mo or friends mo o kahit sa mga any history cases. Number 2, synthesis. After collection of the data, the information is organized in a logical manner to analyze the individual terms of his qualification, asset, potential, liabilities, adjustment, cultural background, habits. Kung dito sa synthesis naman, if pagkatapos mo nang makuha or makolek lahat ng informations, intindihin mo na ito siya based sa kanilang qualifications, assets, potential, liabilities, adjustments, etc. Number 3, diagnosis. At this stage, we are to find out the root cause of the problems exhibited by the clients. So, dito naman sa stage na to, dito mo malalaman yung ugat or yung pangunahing problema ng client. Number 4, prognosis. At this stage, we predict the future development of the client's problems. So, dito naman sa stage na to, hinuhulaan na ng mga counselor ang mga clients nila kung magiging successful ba ang pagharap ng mga problems ng client.
Assalamualaikum. By the way, my name is Noraina Eigana. So this is the continuation of the report. Okay, number 5, treatment or counseling. It may include some or all of the following procedures. So letter A, establishing rapport with the student. So dito is yung counseling is mag-establish ng ugnayan sa mga student or client. Sa letter B naman is interpreting the collected data to the student. So dito is yung ang counselor is i-interpret niya or iintindi ang mga collected data sa mga client. Letter C, advising or planning a program of action with a student. So, yung counselor is magplanong mag-create ng mga programa sa mga client, and yung mga programa na yun is pwedeng encourage ang student academics, social, emotional, and personal development. Sa letter D naman is assisting the student is carrying out the plan of action. So, dito na yung tinutulungan ng counselors ang student or client para isakatuparan ang mga plan of actions. Letter E, referrals to other counselors for assistance in a diagnosing or counseling. Dito naman is if hindi kaya ng mga unang counselor ang client, syempre i-refer niya ito sa ibang counselor para ma-diagnose at mabigyan ng gabay. Sa letter F, in short, at this stage, the counselor takes step with the student or client to bring about adjustment and readjustment for him. Sa madaling salita, ang counselor ay gumagawa ng hakbang para maayos at mabigyan solusyon ang programa. Number 6 na tayo. Follow up. Here the counselor helps the clients with the new problems or with recurrences of the original problems and determines the effectiveness or counseling provided by him. So, itong follow up is to follow with something similar, related, or supplementary following up his convictions with actions. So, dito na yung tinutulungan ng tagapayo ang kliyente sa mga bagong problema o sa pag-ulit ng mga original na problema at tinutukoy ang bisa ng pagpapayo na ibinibigay niya.
Non-directive counseling. Ito yung counseling na ang role lang ng counselor ay bigyan ng impormasyon ang client tungkol sa kanyang problema at tutulungan siya na pag-aralan at gumawa ng solusyon sa kanyang problema. Counselor is given full freedom to talk about his problem and work out a solution. Counselor is, pag sinabing counselor, ito yung client or ika-counsel. So, counselor is bibigyan ng freedom or time para sabihin ng kanyang problema bago gawa ng solusyon. So, ito yung tinatawag na techniques na permissive counseling. The chief exponent of this counseling approach, Carp R. Ang chief exponent ng counseling na ito ay si Carp R. It also known as the permissive counseling approach where the counselor's role is passive and counselor's role is active. Kilala rin ito bilang permissive counseling approach where the counselor's role is passive and the counselor's role is active. So, as a counselor is dapat active ka sa mga bagay na dapat niyong gawin para masolusyonan ang iyong problema. Next, it is a counselor-centered or patient-centered humanistic approach. So, ito ay counseling na naka-center or patient-centered humanistic approach. So, nakasentro ang counselor or patient-centered sa humanistic approach. The counselor make the decision as individual are taught to have full right to make final decision for the self and solve their problem. Ang counselor ay makes a final decision o gumagawa ng final decision as individual upang magkaroon ng full right to make final decision para sa sarili upang mabigyan ng solusyon ang kanyang problema. The last is the counselor has to accept the counselor's capacity to make adjustment and adapt. As a counselor ay kailangan mo i-accept o i-appreciate ang kakayahan ng counselors to make adjustment o adapt sa mga ginagawa niyang adjustment and adaptation sa kanyang mga na-adapt. All of this guidance counseling is according in Carp R.